Belgium is a small country in both size and in population of about 10 million people. But it's rich in the history and culture of its French and Flemish-speaking peoples. Tensions between these two linguistic groups dominated Belgian politics for more than a century.
The institutions were designed more or less following French designs, very centralized, and in the hands of an elite which spoke French, regardless of where it came from in the country. Gradually, with democratization, the majority of the population happened to speak Flemish. But this was not reflected in the institutions of the country. So gradually, there were pressures to recognize institutions in Flemish, and that federal or central institutions should reflect the diversity of the country.
And at the same time, another revolution took place in the south of the country, because after the Second World War, it was struck by the economic crisis. And they thought that they could only solve the economic crisis if they had the tools at their own disposal to do something about it. So as a result of different aspirations in the north and in the south of the country was gradually federalized.
The Belgian solution was to divide itself into distinct territories. In the north, Flanders became the home to the country's 6 million Flemish-speaking people. At the same time, in the south, the region of Wallonia became the home for the French-speaking population of about 4 million. Brussels, the country's bilingual capital, became the third region. A small community along the German border has official German-speaking status, although it remains part of the Wallonian region. These linguistic borders have allowed cultural identities to flourish within their regions. In Flanders, the expression of Flemish history and culture imbues the life and economy of the region. The Flemish language is evident everywhere, incorporated into the political and institutional fabric of the territory. If you travel south into Wallonia, Belgium's French cultural and linguistic heritage becomes immediately apparent. Like Flanders, Wallonia has its own capital city, its own institutions, and the territory operates solely in the French language.
The major point of federalism for citizens is to bring some decisions closer to them. If the Flemish and the French want to promote their own educational system, have different interests in culture, that means they can do it because you can decentralize decision-making.
Belgium reinforces that decentralization by creating a third level of government that's not territorial, but serves Belgium's linguistic communities.
Things related to territory are dealt with by the regions and the regional governments. Things that relate to people and culture are dealt with by the communities. And then, of course, on top of that, you've got a federal government.
Brussels is Belgium's bilingual capital, and in a way, it's the glue that holds the federation together.
Jaune, comme ça on voit que c'est de l'or. Il a sa pièce d'or. Ça c'est une, avec un tiers du sac.
This French school in Brussels is administered by the Francophone Community Government, which governs French education in Wallonia too.
C'est tout un sac de noisettes.
Super, Julie.
Je kunnen verstaan. En wat is nog belangrijk?
And Flemish schools like this one are governed by the Flemish Community Government.
Gebouwde schaapskooi, uitgemest en gooit hooi in de donkere ruimte.
All levels of government and regions of the country come together here in the Belgian Parliament to share the powers and responsibilities that make the country work.
Die er dan in de feiten wel is, Gij doet alsof hij afwezig
heeft
is.
de vraag niet gehoord, is binnengekomen als de vraag gesteld was.
This is a country committed to democracy. That's the base, and the respect for human rights and peace. These are fundamental. You can build any kinds of institutions, but unless you've got a commitment to basic principles of respect for others, it's very difficult to make them work.
À deux questions des membres flamands de l'opposition et ne pas vouloir être là quand des membres francophones le questionnent, c'est inadmissible.
To make major changes, you need consensus. And this is, I would say, a protection against oppression, against abuse of power. Doesn't mean there are no power games. I mean, obviously there are. But basically there's a strong commitment to respect the process and to talk about problems and to try to resolve them.
People are very realistic. So as long as that Belgian state structure is able to solve problems, Belgium will stay as a country as it is today.